guys, T2RX6 here, back for another Transformers review, and today we're taking a look at the Takara Fortress Maximus. Not the American version, this is the Japanese version. Yeah, and we're not going to spend too much time talking about articulation and all that stuff, because you've already seen it with Metroplex, and all he is a very, very, very remolded Metroplex. Now, I did want to point out right out of the gate, per my friend Cody, shout out to Cody, good guy. He actually had suggested turning the crotch around, which is the same way that Metroplex has it. So I did that. It's 4 screws, take it apart, flip it around. If not, what you see here will end up being on his front, and I just didn't like the 4 screw holes. I'd rather him have a matching crotch to Metroplex as opposed to 4 screw holes on the front. That's just me, your mileage may vary, but just be aware of that. It doesn't affect anything else but just how it looks from the front there. So as you can see, Metroplex here, Fortress Maximus here, roughly the same size. Fortress Maximus is a little bit bigger, and that's mostly due to the Headmaster gimmick. Everything else is the same size. But it's very impressive the amount of retooling they did for this guy. Now the arms are entirely the same from the elbow down. From the shoulder up though, you can see just a wonderful amount of retooling up here. We got that whole big retool of the chest. Of course, you add this on Fortress Maximus. There is none of that, but you do have this button here, but that's actually to eject the Headmaster. If we push it, actually, I thought it ejected the Headmaster, sort of. It's okay, you can stop talking now. Anyway. Yep, plays the theme song, and you can see, it may be hard to see, but his eyes are kind of lighting up. I put a brand new battery in, so it's not the greatest lighting effect. I do just wish the eyes were painted or something. There is no visor or anything to flip down. Yeah, see, if you hit that, it just ejects the head. And then when you plug it in, you get all the sounds. See his eyes lighting up there. Everything's in Japanese, obviously, and he does the theme song. So we've heard most of what he's gonna do. Big retool of the chest here. No cannons like you would have on the original Fort Max to flip out at his hips. That's kind of annoying. The thighs, complete retool. I mean, just look how, like, almost skinny the Fortress, or the Metroplex legs look compared to the Fort Max legs. Huge retool. And then when you come down to the knees here, let's adjust that. Obviously you have the differences here, but it's all, I mean, it's still the same calf, but the front face of it is different. So you have the big guns on the front here, different toes, but it's Fortress Maximus. So if you've messed with Metroplex, you've messed with Fortress Maximus pretty much. The Japanese one, unlike the US one, does come with the sword. The sword does fit in his hand here, but notably, it's actually fairly weak. There's a big slot in the hand, which I'm pretty sure was present for the Metroplex gun. And you can plug it in, but it never solidly pegs in. No matter what I try, it doesn't seem to peg in to his hand very well at all. So, a large amount of time, I'm just forcing the hand to actually hold it. And it's nice, it looks good with them, but I don't understand why it doesn't peg very well. And that doesn't make sense to me. So let's take his Headmaster off here, and we'll go ahead and transform his Headmaster. So this is the small bot. We'll flip this in. Transformation sound. Take the feet, unpeg them from the side here, flip his little toes down, like this. And flip his arms to the side, and then just go ahead and clean it up. And there is the robot mode for the Headmaster. Very simplistic. If you want the sounds, click those. I don't know what most of the things he says are. I understood all of that, not really. Or that. Now he's just mocking me. But that's my favorite. I don't know why you would want to pay extra for it. I mean, you could just go and YouTube that, but obviously it's pretty cool that it plays the theme song to the Headmaster's show. Just for reference, when you go the other way, it transforms again. Like, really, it's such dim lighting. And it's a brand new battery in mine. That stinks. Anyway, of course, he's a double Headmaster. And this has the different Headmaster than the US one. This is what Fortress looked like in Japan, not the spike mold. I do wish we had the spike mold too, because I think it looks pretty cool. And this is your standard Titan's Return Headmaster, just like that, with the standard articulation on him. But very cool that they made him a double Headmaster. I can always appreciate that. So one thing to point out here, with our big Master Sword, it does break down into 3 pieces. You could give a rather large sword. Can you give the large sword? You can't give the large sword. I'm sorry, I'm not really sure where it goes. You have the small sword, which you can give to the Fortress Headmaster. So we're not going to talk too much about articulation, but it is worth pointing out that Fortress does retain a swivel on his head to look around. No up and down, just swivel back and forth. And one thing I really wish that either Takara or Hasbro or both had done is add a flip-in mechanism for the fists. As they stand, they just kind of... I mean, there's big hollows on this arm here, like this. Like, you could have just made these flip in. I don't recommend you doing it this way on your Fortress, because you can just pull it out. Not really meant to be like that. Just push the little clear thing, and you can see it activates little things that kind of... It's not clear from every single angle. Most angles, it's pretty tolerable. But when you look at the head like this, it's fine. When you go like that, you got the fists hanging out over it, and depending where you're going to display it, that can be a little on the distracting side. So I was just sitting here, and I realized I said that this ejects the head. It is intended to make the sounds, but sometimes it can eject the head, as you can see. I mean, I'm not pulling it off. So it doesn't really clip in strong enough to keep it, but it is supposed to be the way to activate his sounds. The remedy for that is just push it gently. You don't really need to push it hard, but it will eject the head if you wanted to. So we're going to take him to Battleship Mode. We'll start with the Headmaster. Just take the little one out, fold this in just like you're going to bring it to Head Mode. And I'll show you how to get it to Head Mode. You fold these up, fold them down like this. Flip these out and flip this up, but that'll make the transformation sound. That's Head Mode. To get it in the Battleship Mode, you can go from Head Mode, fold that down, fold these in, and fold his feet back out. And you're just going to leave them like this. We'll put that aside. We'll take our little Headmaster here. We'll just put him in Robot Mode so we don't lose him. And we'll get to Battleship Mode. Battleship Mode for Fortress Maximus is entirely uninteresting. But you already know that if you know Fortress Maximus. You take them, we're pretty much going to lie him down, but before we do, we're going to take this piece here, and we're going to clip it in place. Take his fists here. I like to personally fold them in just like that, and rotate that around. Same thing on this side. Just like that. Look how this battleship is turning out. Ooh, that sounded terrible. Take this piece, fold them around. They will clip together. Where is the pegs? I thought they clipped together. Yeah, there they go. Clip together, just like that. Fold the little bridge section down. Yeah. Come to this part here, and he does, well, we'll get to that after. Take this, bring it down. It can be difficult to do, but it should should, you may have to go from underneath, clip in on both sides. And congratulations, you have, whoa, terrible. You have the most interesting Battleship Mode ever. You can raise the cannons here to make it a little more menacing looking. We can come around here, and we can adjust this little leg thing, which doesn't have quite the whole gun, but whatever, it works. The bridge. Now the bridge in the old Fortress Maximus used to be a little place you could stick your headmaster in, whatever. This is a big wide open hollow, whether they did this to, save themselves some money or whatever, or just incorporate the headmaster, but you take the headmaster and complete the bridge by plugging him right into here. So his hands should be in these spots here, so I don't think mine is down quite far enough. And I have trouble getting them to fit in more than like that. On the positive note, as you can see, he doesn't have the flop that Metroplex has. He's in the air and not going anywhere. So that is actually how you make the bridge, which is fine, except for one problem. There is no place for this little guy to go. Now, I mean, you could throw him in any number of panels, I suppose, if you want, but there's just no place for him to sit, which is real disappointing. He can't sit up here anywhere. I guess if you want, he can sit outside the battleship on this gun here, but I don't know. That's disappointing to me that the only place that he can go in his ship mode is outside. So while we're in the ship mode, you can see we do have a bunch of little stickers here to make thrusters on both his back and stuff. Considering Fortress Maximus just lays down and everything, I actually feel this ship mode's a little bit more disappointing than the G1. It's almost the same, but like without the little extra pieces and stuff, somehow it just comes off as more disappointing. So getting this guy from his Battleship Mode to City Mode is super easy. All you have to do cooperate. Oops, took that right off. All it is pegged right in there. I have this habit of knocking it off because it's very loosely put in. Flip that gun around, open up that little door, and we have Fortress in his city mode. Sure. Also feels much more disappointing than the G1 version. I'm not sure if there is anything else we can do to it to make it look more G1. I do like the little tower detail here and up here. I think it looks nice, but it doesn't feel like Fortress. We don't have the jail cell and such like that. So honestly, this guy's not all that interesting to me to keep in city mode. I'd rather just pull out the G1 Fortress and leave him in city mode. It's disappointing. Now, one thing they do tell us, and I don't have any so I can't comment on it, you do have this, which I'm not sure what that's supposed to go to, but it looks like it could peg into another transformer. I don't know which one's sized that way. The instructions do mention these little pieces here being connectable to, say, blaster to extend out the base like you did the G1 Triptychon and the combiner bases. Similarly, this little port we put down here, you can actually connect your blaster to also. So, one thing I wanted to point out that really disappointed me here, and I forgot to mention this in robot mode, this piece here, which makes up the big chest piece, was always green, and I was real disappointed to know that the Takara one made it blue. I don't understand the rationale behind it. The Takara one, or the Hasbro one, I believe, is green, which I would have preferred. I don't know. Maybe I need to go back and look at the Headmaster's cartoon to remember what he looked like in the cartoon, but I don't know. Maybe it was blue in the cartoon, and that's why Takara made it that way. Again, the only real place for our little headmaster is in the little gun here. And as far as I know, there's no real solid place to put the sword. There's nothing in the instructions about it. Each one does have like a little tab on it, so I don't know if there was supposed to be some place that I'm not aware of where it's supposed to go, but I don't see it. So mine doesn't tab in any meaningful way. I was going to go ahead and take Metroplex and put him in city mode, but I think it's pretty obvious that it's a different city mode, albeit, in my opinion, way less impressive than Metroplex. So yeah, this is T2RX6. Honestly, I don't think I recommend this one. If you're interested in Fortress Maximus, this toy, just get the American release. It's a little bit cheaper than the Japanese version. It's definitely easier to get than the Japanese version. And, I mean, there's some extra paintwork and stuff, but that's really not worth the extra price to me. The Japanese stuff is cool, in my opinion. That's because I like the Headmaster's TV show. It may not be for everybody. Honestly, I think the Hasbro one is more than sufficient, and this is just unnecessary. So this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next time.